So we're going to talk about horizontal pulls, horizontal sections. When we think about that, what we want to think about is we're pulling horizontal to the horizon, to the floor, to the roof. So when we take this section, what I want us to think about, wherever you are on the head, if it's a horizontal section, that would mean I'm going to slice through the hair, and I would then take a horizontal section and line. Once I've taken that, if my choice is to create a horizontal pull, then I would take a section out of the hair, which would then be even, cutting or pulling to the width of my finger or my comb. When I take this section, I would be lifting this and pulling it out to the center of my chest or my sternum to ensure that I'm keeping things equal on the head. So that way we can see from left to right and right to left that it's truly an even plane. What we want to note from a top view is that we aren't pulling back this way or this way if the intention is to create a rectangular or a square box. So if we're cutting a square box or a rectangle, this line needs to stay straight. Notice that my comb will then come in flat to the head. It will come out, and my comb and my fingers will all move in unison, pulling to the center of my sternum to ensure that I have control of what I'm trying to create. So I'd like to illustrate a diagonal line. Now, mind you, a diagonal line could be in a variety of areas on the head, which I'll show you a few randomized sections so you can observe my fingers, my comb, my movements. So I'm going to show a side illustration. The reason I want to show a side illustration allows us to be more on the flat plane of the head. So when I take this section, let's just assume we're going to go from the very point of the center of her scalp in her hairline. Then we are going to section just right behind the tip of the ear. If I were to take that section, I would first start by grooming the hair with my larger tooth comb, fine teeth comb, to really get control. Then I would come through with my larger tooth. I would place my finger exactly where I want to go to. By doing so, I have the ability to then place my comb at the top of her head in the center. By doing so, I have the ability to place my comb at the top of the head center, and I will make sure that my comb stays parallel to the angle I'm creating, and I will move and simply part and section straight to my finger. Once I've done that, I hold the hair in my hand, I then separate the hair, and I will have a very nice slight diagonal line. If I were to proceed the rest of the way through a haircut, a blow dry, or whatever the design is that you're working on your technique, I would do the same thing. The hair would always be groomed in the direction that you're going to be sending it. Then I'm going to take the tip of my comb. Notice I'm not holding it like this and trying to part. Tip of the comb, let the comb ride the contour of the head and section straight to my finger for my following section. And I would continue to do that till I see fit in whatever my design is that I'm then creating. Each time you take your section, ensure that you take your part line, you read your part line, you visualize your section not only with your eyes looking straight at the section, but you use a mirror so that you can see if this line is truly straight. Because by looking at a mirror, when you look into a mirror, the distance of the mirror from the head, if the head is 2 feet from the mirror, that gives me a 4-foot distance view. If I turn and I'm looking at the head as such, I don't have that much space. So as words have been said, you can't see the forest for the trees. So you need to create the spatial aspect so you can see what you're trying to create. Remember, you're only as in control of your work as the knowledge that you have in your brain and the skill sets that you deliver through the concept of your vision and the technical aspects of your hands. And they all have to work in unison. So that would show a slight diagonal backward line. If I did the same section, instead of standing like this and trying to part across my body, which is fine upon occasion, I could also step to the side, and in stepping to the side, I could then part from front to back. And you're doing the exact same thing. Again, the rule is that I'm always following my comb and bringing and sending my comb to the tip of my finger so that I can then pinch, gain control, and by pinching and gaining control, the next aspect that I get is I've moved the hair and sent the hair exactly where it needs to go. Stay tuned for more Foundry University.